Hi, Minius here, talking about some of the things that I want in Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, none of these ideas have been confirmed or denied yet, so technically everything I talk about in this video is a legitimate possibility, though some are less likely than others, as I'm sure you'll see. So, here goes.
What do you want from me?
I want to do away with classes in single player, in favor of being able to pick and choose whatever abilities I want. The class-based system has been in Mass Effect throughout its existence, but the concept of locking you into a class that has a limited number of abilities in an RPG is a bit dated. Class-based systems are fine for multiplayer games where you want to create balance between everyone, but in single player that balance doesn't really matter. After all, the only person you'd be screwing is the computer-controlled AI enemies. Other RPGs have had a lot of success by allowing you to pick and choose how you want to strengthen your character, allowing for a more personal experience. Imagine what this could do to the gameplay in Mass Effect. If you want to be a sword-wielding ninja who specializes in sniper rifles and also has some sort of biotic stun, cool. If you want to be a tough-as-nails shotgun-wielding tank with a tech decoy and some extra melee strength, that's also cool. If you want to be a biotic god that wields an assault rifle that can also use disruptor ammo, sure, no problem. Forcing you into classes with a limited amount of abilities is an unnecessary limit on fun. I want to bring back skill trees for each particular type of firearm. The original Mass Effect was the only game in the series that allowed you to increase your skill with your preferred weapon. Mass Effects 2 and 3 let you build up an arsenal of abilities, but depending on your playstyle, some of them went completely unused. For instance, if you used an infiltrator, there's a good chance you used Tactical Cloak almost all of the time. Any other minor ability associated with the infiltrator class was probably left on your wheel. Allowing you the option to put those extra points into increasing the damage, ammo capacity, or stability of your weapon seems like a good alternative to, well, allowing those points to be wasted on an ability you almost never use. I want a Volus Squadmate. Seriously, I want a Volus Squadmate. Every time a Volus shows up in Mass Effect, the entertainment value goes through the roof, and having one on your ship interacting with your other teammates would be great fun. Now I'm sure you're thinking of the way the Volus played in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. The poor guy couldn't climb up objects or even punch without technical assistance. But we know from the Citadel DLC that at least one Volus has game.
You're very blunt, but you're right.
Now I'm sure the chances of this are somewhere next to zero, but I think it'd be great, just pure fun. I want supplies to be short in the new Mass Effect. In the trilogy, you are handed the best ship in the galaxy. You are given access to the best weaponry and equipment, and you can recruit the best personnel. In Mass Effect Andromeda, you literally start out millions of light years away from any kind of support. It would make sense for you, at least at first, to not have enough of anything you need to get the job done, forcing you to go out of your way to build up supplies to even have a chance at accomplishing something. This would give the player a sense of desperation because you may not be able to survive so far from home, and you might have to make impactful decisions early on as to what you want to go after, leaving you vulnerable in other areas, and adding an early dynamic that the other games didn't have. I want you to be able to stumble across side missions with solid story content. Now, I'm sure it's difficult for developers and publishers to spend resources on building quality content that might never be seen by the player, but stumbling across something engaging that is barely related to the main plot would be great. Having rewarding, story-based side missions would encourage you to spend more time exploring your surroundings, and that fits in great with the way Mass Effect works. After all, a good part of the charm in the series is the ability to visit and investigate different systems and planets whenever you feel like it. Adding more content for exploration can only be a plus to those playing it. However, as I mentioned before, developers tend to want to spend the most time working on stuff they know is going to be seen, which I'm sure is a good reason why side story content that matches or surpasses the main story in video games is extremely rare. And honestly, I don't expect them to do this, I just want them to.
Why would I want that?
And finally, I want you to be able to continue your journey after you finish the main story. Now, most open-worldish games allow you to do this, but this is worth bringing up because many of the most recent BioWare games like Mass Effect, Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Mass Effect 3 all stopped after the end of the main story. Now, this was largely due to the fact that something drastic story-wise happened. A couple of those games even put you back to an earlier point upon completion, but I want to be able to explore the situation I helped create, and more importantly, I want to be able to play at my own pace. This is a minor but fundamental problem with a lot of large RPGs that require suspension of disbelief as far as the story is concerned. Good stories have a sense of urgency to them, often pushing you to go faster in order to stop something from happening. Good RPGs have lots of things to do in them, and it takes time to go through them all. So, do you rush off and stop the bad guy before he does something terrible and miss out on the side stuff? Or pretend that the bad guy is going to wait for you while you go rescue that robot puppy from the robot pound, or something. Allowing you to continue after the main storyline to go back and do all the little stuff is a good way to allow a player to completely engage in the story by going full speed, but also allowing them to continue with their character to explore the terrific world that the story took place in. Thanks for taking a look at some of the things I want in Mass Effect Andromeda. If you like this video, please give it a like. Next up, I'll be going over some of the things I don't want in the new Mass Effect. But for now,
I should go.